So is it hot in Texas? Well, it's after 6 p.m. It's 29 degrees. It is windy and the humidity is a little over 90%. And the sun hasn't been up all day, which is to say that it is way too favorable for it to be below 29, but it's not. Right here on Mustang Island in South Texas, and if you don't believe me, in Texas, it's hot. I'll be here for 3 days. Join me.
Open minds in a cage, hungry hearts in a rage, glowing eyes in a daze, turning around in a hurry, hoping you will come along. I'm running as fast as I can, in a desperate need of a plan. It's the work of one little man. I'm fading out from the story. Am I a passionate man?
So I feel like I have everything that I need to travel. I know that might seem a bit conceited, and I will certainly come across things that I have forgotten. But at this point, with the distances that I've traveled, the locations at which I've traveled, I have felt comfortable with what I have. In fact, there are things that I have that I haven't been able to use because of some of the other things that I might have needed. I know that sounds ridiculous, but in order to use a grill outside, I would need a place to put it, so I bought a metal rack that fits over the tire so that not only can I use it outside, but once I get my build complete, then I can use the grill at least under the back hatch. This is just one more trip that I use to stretch Sarah's legs. I am going to see what I am able to do in the circumstances that I find myself, and typically at this point I have a concern as to whether I'm going to come across a considerable number of mosquitoes or bugs or whatever else that may bother me. But one thing that I definitely need to make sure I understand is that if that's a concern now, it's going to be a concern in the future, and if it's something I need to address, I need to address it quickly. When I had the opportunity to travel through North Texas into New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, Utah, and back into New Mexico, I was concerned about where I would sleep and what I would be able to do while I was at whatever location that I found. And part of that is either getting an awning or getting a privacy tent or being able to utilize public facilities or whatever the case may be. And that continues to be something that I address as well. Wild Horse Island, as it was originally called, was later changed to Mustang Island, signifying the thousands of wild Mustangs that used to be its primary inhabitants. Early on, the island was shared with the Aransas, a loosely banded group of Native Americans who covered the lower Colorado and Brazos River valleys of South Texas. While Mustang horses are considered wild, technically they're not, as they are descendants of the escaped domesticated horses brought to North America by the Spanish in the 16th century. Therefore, they would be considered feral. The Mustangs inhabited the island for centuries, relatively unimpeded, until ranchers began to encroach on their territory. The first person to begin infringing on the Mustangs was Captain Robert Mercer, who is credited as being the first permanent settler to move his family onto the island in 1853. By the end of the 19th century, the Mustangs had all but disappeared from the island. The island itself is part of the system of barrier islands off the coast of Texas. Mustang Island is a narrow strip about 18 miles long, running from Corpus Christi to the south up to Port Aransas in the north. It is a very popular tourist location throughout the year because of its relatively stable and warm climate, but for about 3 to 4 weeks out of the year, the island is known for a completely different wildlife species. Port Aransas and Mustang Island is one of the most popular locations for teens and young adults during spring break. Their numbers are staggering. In fact, to put it into perspective, many of the businesses in the area make more money during that time of year than the preceding and following months combined. For now, I'm going to enjoy a different version of the island.
Sometimes it feels like I'm breathing, but am I alive? And when I'm lost in the current of a raging sea, I'm fading out from the story. Am I a passionate man, hanging on to the glory, day by day if I can?
I wish you all the best, always.